Hi there, welcome to another episode of All Things Mindful. And in this podcast channel, we share strategies on how we can create a life which feels as close to magical as possible. We share tips and strategies on how to live in a more intuitive manner, live more intentionally, as well as to maybe use a little bit of law of attraction tips so that we can create a life which feels good to us. Anyway, today I want to share about what it means when we have this desire for having lots of money. The reason why I feel inclined to talk about this today is because I was reading a particular book called Creating Money. And there were many aha moments in that book. And I want to share one thing which I read in there and apply it to my life. And you can apply it to your life so that you will understand yourself better and maybe improve your relationship with money. So, when we want lots of money, there are many reasons why we want that. And in reality, when we want money, it's not that we want the dollars and cents or we want the numbers in our bank account or anything like that. When we want money, there is usually a higher feeling, a higher state that we are longing for. For example, the reason I want money is because I want to feel these three higher states or these three higher feelings. We call it higher feelings, but in general, money is like the bridge between where we are now and the feeling that we want to achieve. So that's why many of us get very attached and get very emotionally charged when it comes to money because it can be a direct link to where we want to be. And in this 3D reality that we are in, money is needed. We can't live on air and love and sunlight alone. I mean, most of us need money to survive, and that is just the construct of this 3D reality, and that is part of the experience, whether we like it or not. So, anyway, that's why we are so emotionally charged when it comes to money because it is the bridge between where we are and where we want to be, who we want to be, what we want to feel, and all that. However, behind every money desire, every money craving, there is a higher feeling, like I mentioned, that we want. So, what are those higher feelings that you are trying to achieve? For me personally, I want more money because money gives me these three higher feelings. Firstly, it gives me, I'm a creator, I'm a creative by nature. Money allows me to create the kind of life I want, aesthetically and more. Number two, money gives me freedom. Freedom is one of my top priorities, one of my top values in life. So it gives me the freedom to do what I want, with whom I want it, buy whatever I want, pursue experiences that I want. And money allows me to do that. So money gives me the feeling of freedom. Thirdly, money also gives me the ability to have a lot of fun in life. Fun is also another top value for me personally. So, money allows me to have more fun experiences on a day to day basis, be more experimental with life, try new things, take fun risks here and there. So, these are the three higher feelings or higher states that I want to achieve when I desire money. So you can mentally do this exercise on yourself and think about the higher feelings that you are trying to achieve when you want money. And I think the sad thing is when we postpone our lives or when we do not live our lives to the fullest because we are waiting for ourselves to earn a certain amount of money before we enjoy our lives. That's quite a mouthful. I'll give you an example here. Maybe you tell yourself, I will be a more present mom or I'll be a much happier individual once I earn, let's say, $5,000 a month in my business. So you postpone your happiness, you postpone your feelings of presence, and you postpone enjoying the present moment because you're waiting for yourself to earn that $5,000 a month or $10,000 a month before you allow yourself to feel those feelings. To be honest, when I come think of it, that's actually quite a sad way to live, because time is always ticking. And why I think that this is a sad way to live, quote unquote sad. Okay, we try not to judge situations, but to me, it's not very ideal way to live because once you reach there, maybe you reach $5,000 or $10,000 a month, you might be yearning for something more. You might earn the money aspect, but you may be losing other aspects of your life. Maybe you lose freedom. Maybe you lose relationships. Maybe you lose self esteem, or maybe you start being more anxious, or start losing your calm. We can't guarantee that when we reach a certain income level or when we have a certain amount in the bank, we are going to be happy, or we are going to finally achieve the peace that we want, or we are finally going to achieve feelings of security or self esteem. There is absolutely no guarantee about that. So that's why I would propose, not propose, but that's why I would kindly suggest that we try to live in according to the higher feelings. So if I want creativity in my life, I want freedom in my life, and I want fun in my life, then I should be living my life according to those standards right now, even though maybe I've not earned the income level that I want. So not to postpone our lives and to start living as though we have achieved the higher states and higher feelings that we want. That is one way for us, according to the metaphysical concepts, that is also one way for us to attract more abundance and money into our lives. That's where acting as if comes from. So when someone says you have to act as if, it's not as though you're supposed to blow away $10,000 on a handbag and shoes and whatnot to live that rich life that you've always wanted. Acting as if means acting as though you have already achieved the higher feelings that is associated with having lots of money in our minds. All right, so one exercise that you can do with yourself today is that whenever you have this strong desire or urge to have a lot of money, to earn a lot of money, to have a lot of money, to work really, really hard to earn that money and have that money, what you can do is to ask yourself what are the three, at least three higher feelings or higher states that you are trying to achieve with money. It can be many things. It can be security. It can also be self esteem. Some people want money because it allows them to buy luxury bags or products which give them that boost in self esteem or self worth. Some people might want lots of money because it makes them feel more secure. So if you are having those thoughts, what you can do is to live as though you are already secure, live as though you already have that self worth and self esteem in your life. And that is how we create a much happier life to live in accordance to the higher states that we want. And it's a win win situation because it will also allow the universe to bring in the good things, the abundance, and more money, hopefully, to come into our lives. So I think that's all I want to share with you today. I understand that today's episode is not very smooth. I apologize for that, but I do hope that you learned something today, and I hope that it is helpful for you today. See you in my next episode. Goodbye.